Today I want to get a video showing the entire project here in Mount Washington, and it's going to be a terrace project. We're calling this project Terrace because it's a contemporary terrace project. We have all sorts of terraces that are already here. We're not really messing with the walls or anything. The customer has a structural company working on the walls and just patching the walls and stuff. There are already a whole bunch of walls here, so I can just work within the walls, which is really nice. I don't have to touch the walls. We do smaller retaining walls and stuff, but we don't really mess with these larger retaining walls a lot of the time. So I'm just gonna walk through what we're gonna do here, and then I wanna do a video at the end where I walk through everything when it's all done. This is gonna be one of my favorite projects so far. It's really fun. So if you step back there for me for a second. So you can see this whole terrace area down here. This kind of little makeshift bench type thing here. It's kind of nice actually. It's gonna be useful when people are down here more often. So this whole area, we brought it down a couple inches. This was a interlocking paver, kind of a really jerry-rigged one, not super aesthetic looking before. So we ripped out all the concrete and the pavers here. And this is going to be a contemporary looking concrete paver design with long strips of pavers. I don't want to get into it too much. I want to kind of surprise you with the next video. But it's going to be a very interesting little concrete paver with artificial turf look up here. We've got to regrade a little bit here. We have these little seeping hole type things here for drainage. Obviously there's been a lot of shifting in the earth. The level of the previous pavers were actually to here, so the level should actually be here, so any overflowing water could just go right into there and down the wall and drain out, right? So we want to work with stuff like that always. So that's our first tier here. So this is just kind of our nice patio. To get down here, you have long steps on that side, long steps on that side. So the access is not great on this job at all, right? Doesn't help with cost and all sorts of things a lot of the time. I have an Ipe fence. So Ipe is a Brazilian hardwood. I have an Ipe fence running all the way through here. Anthony's here today with us. He's hanging out. And we have that running all the way through down to the bottom. We initially planned on a step down system, so it's going to step down every once in a while. There's a potentiality we might angle it down just due to some of our angles here and stuff, but we're going to see what we end up with on that. But yeah, it's basically one of the nicest woods you can get is an Ipe wood, it's called. And we'll have pressure treated wood posts and all sorts of stuff for the framework to make it last long. So that's going to come all the way down there. And then we have our one of our first tiers here. This is just going to be a mulch with a weed fabric down beneath it, some plants and some irrigation. And then here's our second kind of usable space tier. If you end up having a big party here or something, then you can have all these different levels you can go down to. This was really low and again really eroded, so this actually used to look like a really cool backyard. I've seen some pictures, but over time, especially on hillside properties and stuff out here in Mount Washington and Eagle Rock and Highland Park and all these places, they have a lot of erosion going on these hillsides. So this was super low, so we've actually taken a lot of the areas where we took pavers out and soil out. We actually just filled this in because it was so low. I want to get it back up to a much more realistic level, just a few inches beneath the edge of the wall there. And this is just going to be a pea gravel patio, just a small gravel. Nice clean little courtyard look. This is kind of the only area we didn't really know entirely what to do with, so I'm like, let's just put some gravel in there. At least there'll be some good drainage, and then you can kind of do whatever you want with it. Maybe this turns into sun chairs, like a little lounge type thing or something like that, because we have kind of our main dining hangout patio up there, easiest access, and then down at the bottom we have another one, so we'll look at that in a second. So now we keep coming down the stairs, and we have another tier, another terraced off area. And so we have our mulch or wood chip up through there, and then we have this area. This is actually going to be a smaller, kind of like 1 inch or so, like size pebble, Mexican pebble. So it's going to be a darker colored Mexican pebble coming through here. It's going to be here. This is actually going to be gone, and you're going to step down onto 2x2 concrete pavers, lighter colored concrete pavers, right? So we have kind of the darker gray pebbles, and then for contrast, we have the 2x2 lighter colored concrete pavers, and that's just going to be for a little pathway from here over to here. And we're gonna fix this up and take that out. So that's just gonna be a little pathway there. Our pebbles will be running between those pavers and just off to the edge there and cancel off over there. And then we come down even another tier here. We have some steps coming through here already. And then this is gonna be another mulch or wood chip and planted area. And same thing over here. We want to use a mulch or wood chip a lot of the time. It's good for the health of the plants, as well as it gives you a natural look. It gives you another color on top of all the other colors and other textures that we're using. And it's just, and it's good for drainage as well, you know. So this will all be all through this tier, and this kind of just this whole area will be plants and wood chips and stuff. We're actually not planning on a planting plan yet. I'm going to run drip irrigation through all the mulch wood chip areas, and the client's actually going to do the planting, so that's going to be a lot of fun. We'll see if at the end of the project, if he's still up for it or if he wants to hire us to do it. So it's kind of cool. So if you look at it from here, you know, we have our concrete pavers with the artificial turf, you know, with some green up top, and then the second one down here on your left, we have the gray pebbles going in, or sorry, the pea gravel going in, and then we got a mulch, and then we got a dark pebble with the contrasting concrete pavers, and then we have the mulch or wood chip. So we have all these different layers going on. It's really a lot of fun. You know, simple, but still getting a lot of variety in here, right? And then why don't we just head down here? So our final tier here down at the bottom. We want to make it so people want to come down here so they can kind of enjoy a walk down here. They have guests over, and you know, we could have all sorts of different areas going on. These black painted concrete pavers were actually already here, and I didn't really want to mess with them because they're kind of cool and they've been here for a while. So we kept these in, and I'm going to contrast these with like a beige or a lightish white pebble between. So it's kind of the opposite of the pavers and pebbles up there. You have the lighter pavers with the darker pebbles, and then down here you have the darker pavers with the lighter pebbles. It's going to be a very cool look. And then those pebbles will just continue through there, and that'll actually probably be a little planting area. They might get a little fountain or something over there. It's kind of a nice spot for that. And then, yeah, beneath all the mulch and stuff, we have weed fabric going in. I'm just gonna mulch it in here for now too. This will probably be full of plants. And you know, obviously the chain link is terrible to look at right now, but once we have that Ipe fence, it's actually coming all the way down through here. It's gonna be fantastic, you know. With the step down look, we have the horizontal style fence, and it's gonna step down, or any style fence, and it's gonna step down like this. Some people don't really like having the angled running all the way through. It's a little bit more contemporary style to step it down. There just might be something in the way of doing that, so we just got to see what we want to do as far as the solution goes, because sometimes you just have to step it down, and it might step down too much to the point where you don't really get the privacy you want. So we might have to make the fence taller, or we have to angle it all the way down to make it so there just aren't those gaps where anybody could see anything, and you don't really want to look into your neighbor's yard sometimes, you know. That side we got bougainvillea running all the way through, so you know, you got plenty of privacy and soundproofing over there. We just need something over here. Before, this was like a 10-foot tall, kind of ugly trellis thing here, so it's going to be a dramatic upgrade. This whole yard's going to be a dramatic upgrade. It's just a little outdated, you know. And they'll get a little fire pit here, and then this last little area here, I wanted to do a little bench here, so we're doing actually a 12-foot long, all the way through here, 12 by 2 deep Ipe bench. So it's going to be the same wood and the same stain color as the fence to match. And it's going to be curved, and I want to show you that later. I'm not going to get into it too much. I want to kind of surprise you guys on that one. So that'll be a cool little bench. So they'll have a little bench there, little fire pit in this area with the pebbles around it. Going to be really nice and sleek. And then they'll probably get just some prefab chairs, maybe 1, 2. So you could have like, you know, like 4 people sitting there, a couple people sitting here. You could have a longer bench here. There's so much stuff you could do with this. I just didn't want to mess with it. It's kind of already a cool layout. And you know, it's a bit of a cost to just pour a bunch of pavers like this. So I'm like, let's keep the black one. That's pretty cool, and let's work with it. And that's it. That's it for Terrace, and we're gonna get on to the next video.